Hi, we are Analia and Michael Magana, and we wanted to take a few moments and give our testimony since we found Joel and Kathy Davison's ministry of God Saved My Marriage about 3 years ago. At that time, Michael and I had been separated for the third time, and I had filed for divorce and was pretty close to getting a restraining order. And like those of you who may be watching this video, I didn't want us to get divorced. We just, despite all of our best efforts, at least it seemed like our best efforts as far as getting help, we just were not successful. We went to a lot of different Christian counselors and non-Christian counselors and churches and other weekend marriage workshops and read a lot of books, and we just kept getting stuck on the same things over and over again and finding that a lot of the same problems we were having kept resurfacing. Um, and and as they were resurfacing, they just kept on getting worse. A little bit, Michael and I were both previously married. My first marriage ended with my first husband passing away and had 2 children, and Michael is divorced from his first marriage. And when we met each other, we definitely were excited that we were both believers. That was a really big draw for us. And we'd had similar upbringings and backgrounds, and we loved each other, and we really thought we could make things work. And we had a lot of red flags come up in our dating time, as those of you watching this may have experienced yourselves. And those red flags, they didn't get fixed in dating and carried over into our marriage. And then things just kind of snowballed after that. And our big thing, with a lot of mistrust in our marriage. Michael used to stalk me, and that was a really big deal in our marriage as well. And unfortunately, like we said earlier, those things just kept getting worse. And I was, all the stuff that I had been looking at just kept telling me as a Christian wife just to stand and to just keep praying for my husband. And, that's great, and neither one of us are going to say don't pray. All those things are important. And yet what we learned through Joel and Kathy's ministry is that actually I do have a voice, and as Michael's helpmate, I need to be helping him towards Christ-likeness and steering him that way. And I was really realizing that I wasn't doing that and needed to do so. And so with the help of Joel and Kathy and their ministry, I was really able to begin to learn how to do that and to be comfortable in doing it as well, to actually realize that I have a voice and it's all right for me to use it, and to learn how to be with Michael in a way that I wasn't up to that point. And a lot of that had to do with just my own arrestedness and how I learned to do life. And now, like I said, we got involved about 3 years ago, and if you knew us, and we know other people, of course, family and friends who knew us in our bad days and know us now, our relationship is completely night and day difference. It's like a 360-degree turnaround. Michael is definitely has learned and continues to learn how to just be that man that God called him to be, which has been really amazing. And that was really the catalyst for us in moving forward, and him really living out Ephesians 5:25 of, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave his life for her. And he's been really committed to doing that over the last 3 years since he started with the ministry. And because of that, because of him going first in that initiation and really being my source of life and strength and bringing healing to me that way, that's what's really started our marriage turning around and getting on the right foot. What did you say, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, from my perspective, our testimony, like Annalie was sharing, I was previously married, and because I didn't know how to be a good husband, I didn't know how to listen to my wife's heart, there was really no hope for a marriage, and so my previous marriage ended up in divorce. And I thought that I did all the work I needed to do before I started dating again, and before I met Annalie, I did a lot of personal work, worked on myself, read a lot of books on, spiritual purity, sexual purity, and, being a genuine, real Christian. And I thought I was ready. I thought I was ready. And Annalie, um, was a Christian, and I met her, and I thought, wow, she's beautiful, she's attractive, she's an amazing woman. She's Christian, I'm Christian. You know, can it get any better than that? And I thought just that simple ingredient where, she's Christian, I'm Christian, we're going to be a happy Christian couple.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought. And what I didn't realize is that, even though she was Christian, I was Christian, didn't, didn't equal me learning how to be that husband that God called me to be by loving her with the Christ-like love. I didn't know how to do that. I thought, just the mere fact that I was a provider and I was a decent person, that I knew how to love. And what I realized is that I knew how to love my way, which really isn't love. Me loving my way doesn't mean that I'm loving Annalie in a way that she needed to be, and I just really had no clue. Yeah, with my upbringing, I didn't really have any good examples of my dad and my mom actually had remarried my stepdad. That neither of them were not a godly man. Neither of them were a man that knew how to take care of my mom's needs, and that was an example of manhood that I had in my life, and which really wasn't much of an example. So I was just guessing it, and what I found, like most husbands, we're just guessing it and winging it, and we think we have it figured out. We really don't. I didn't have it figured out, and if I was being a good Christian man and a good provider and things of that sort, why wouldn't Annalia be happy? And if she's not happy, it's not my fault. It's her fault. So with our marriage, it was always ultimately, no matter what the discussion was or the decision that needed to be made or the argument that was occurring, it can't be my fault because I'm a decent Christian guy, going to church, involved with ministry, and yeah, and everyone else is happy with me. Why can't Analia be happy with me? And if she's not happy with me, it's her fault. So it didn't matter what Analia would say or how she would say it. Her trying to tell me that I'm really missing the mark as her husband. I could always blame her. There was really no hope for our marriage. What I learned through Joel and Kathy is that there is hope for me to be that husband that Analia needs me to be, and
Sorry.
and there is hope that we could be happy. And that happened 3 years ago. Initially, I wasn't really excited about that. Analia had found their ministry, and I'm thinking, okay, if she found it, what does she know about marriage? I was still blaming her for all of our
Right.
problems. But fortunately, by the grace of God, God, got a hold of my attention, and I downloaded the free version of their book. And as I was reading, I was like, wow, I'm really not all that. I'm just really a
Yeah, you
Christian.
were.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just a Christian by name, not by deed. So the journey's been amazing. It has been difficult. The first 6 to 12 months, nothing short of excruciating me learning how to love someone else other than myself. I was really good at that, loving myself. And it was exciting at the same time. It was exciting that, yeah, I could really love another person. I could love Annalie in a way that is real and tangible to her, and she could forgive me for how I hurt her. And we could really get to the point to where the sting of how I hurt her is gone, and the joy and the power and the presence of God in our life and in Annalie's life and my life is such that we're genuinely happy, and it's almost as if all that hurt and that pain never really happened. Of course it happens. Annalie will always remember how I hurt her. The difference is it just doesn't sting her and it doesn't sting me, and it's pretty much gone. We could talk about it, and it's almost like a distant memory with no negative feelings attached to it, and it's only because we're really living it now. So that's a cool and beautiful thing. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our testimony. We thank you for giving us this opportunity, and thank you, Joel and Kathy, for loving us and standing with us in the middle of this. Thank God for the two of your books, The Man of Her Dreams, The Woman of His, and Living It and Loving It. And we're happy to say that we're not just...
We are living and loving it.
There you go. Thank you. Bye-bye.